Good night and welcome to Cut Deep Season 1, Episode 6. I'm Cindy Roseanne Jones, your host. Most of you may know me from my Facebook platform. I thought it important to transition and or to add to my Facebook reach, to extend my platform and be able to share more with you, my listening audience. The concept of Cut Deep was developed about a year ago with the focus on encouraging the wider public to think more in depth on issues that plague us, encouraging persons to have a voice and to use that voice to invoke change. Cut Deep is an interactive platform cutting through the noise and political rhetoric. It is raw, uncut, challenging you to think critically. What do the issues mean for us? What part do we play? It is a platform that will move the Virgin Islands toward unified, integrated success. Cut Deep Season 1 will be featured on 284 Media each Tuesday from 8 to 9 p.m. Once again, welcome to Season 1, Episode 6 of Cut Deep. We will take a short break and be right back.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
Sonny.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay. I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back to this week's episode of Cut Deep. We're on Episode 6, Gambling and Cannabis Legislation. What did we miss? But before we get to tonight's topics, let's do a bit of house cleaning from last week's show. The old people does say, you never see a foul bottom till the wind blow. Well, bottoms were on full display last week, post Episode 5 of Cut Deep. But let's talk about one bottom in specific, Virgin Islands News Online. Although we know who writes the multitude of Vino's articles, I want to talk about the editor-in-chief. The owner of Vino, the sitting speaker of our House of Assembly, continues to say that his editor-in-chief is responsible for any content coming out of Vino. And as the editor himself told me a couple of weeks ago, he takes the blame for everything. Did you know Vino has an actual editor? It is decorated marathon runner, Mr. Ruben Stobie. I want to first of all let Mr. Stobie know that my name is not Rosemary or Roseanne. Secondly, Mr. Stobie, I want you to know that the BVI is a democratic society, which means the government is the people and the leadership is elected by the people. And that under our Constitution, we are entitled to our opinions. Free speech with responsibility. So imagine the alarm of the public when a citizen of the BVI comes under attack by the media for her opinion on the performance of the elected government administration. Something which she has a right to do under the Constitution of the Virgin Islands. Do you work for the VIP, Mr. Stobie? Is Vino a VIP-run media outlet carrying out the agenda of the VIP administration? The good people of this territory would like to know, because the last time I checked, the media is there to stand neutral and report on issues independently. Why is it, Mr. Stobie, that you feel comfortable enough to come for my job in a country grounded in democracy? Why is it that you feel comfortable to label me a face of hate to locals in my own country? a face of hate? Imagine that. There is not a single company in the BVI that can say I reached out to them to ask them to pull their ads from Vino or else. Not one. As someone responsible for their own actions, I personally decided not to support any establishments advertising with Vino or who would not separate their company from the hate that this paper pushes out. That is my democratic right. I can spend my money as I choose. It's called being a responsible citizen and adult. So because I stood up to the big bad media house Vino and your distasteful, hateful cartoon, you smear my character, defame me, disrespect my deceased sister, is that how it works in your home country of Guyana? In Guyana, would you get away with the vitriol attacks you mount on citizens, members of sitting governments, and the governor? Would you be able to run such offensive cartoons in Guyana? Where did you acquire your journalistic skills? And what media fraternity are you with? You're a disgrace to true and fair journalism. Your actions reek of racism, prejudice, and division. Knowing the history of Indians and blacks in your country, however, I wouldn't expect anything else from you. Honestly, so keep on being you. In the meantime, I hope Vino is able to afford the suit being mounted on you, Mr. Stobie, and Virgin Islands News Online. Your hate-filled story, an attempt at a smear campaign, put my life in danger. It was reckless on your behalf and irresponsible media journalism. Anyone in this territory who dare to have an opinion contrary to that of the VIP or Vino is villainized. Well, it stops here today with me. What I would say is that the Virgin Islands needs to get serious about the characters we allow to come through our borders and the impact such characters have on our future. I won't bother to discuss your boss. His bottom is on full display, and I know the territory on a whole does not like the look.
Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. 284 Media proudly presents its newest talk show, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, with yours truly, Ron Grant. A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Don't worry, it's not all about suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a 284 Media production.
Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 6 of Cut Deep. Tonight's topic is the gambling and cannabis legislations. What did we miss? So we are absolutely clear. I have no issue with the need for gambling or cannabis legislations. A matter of fact, I've been an advocate for years for cannabis in specific to be legalized, small amounts decriminalized, and records expunged. However, the manner in which this administration operates is tantamount to dictatorship. It is indeed a difficult time for citizens and residents of this territory due to COVID-19. And what that has done is weaken us even further as a people. We have a lot going on, can't focus. People are worried and stressed. The VIP administration has taken full advantage of COVID-19 to circumvent the people of this territory. In our weakened state, they have continued to wear us down with their heavy boot of dictatorship. Most persons at this time are unable to concentrate on anything but survival, and so are unable to remain abreast of all the changes being ushered into the territory. On June 18th, the House of Assembly, under the VIP administration, passed gambling legislation for this territory. Up to a week ago, most persons hadn't realized that this legislation had been passed. More than 90% of persons have no idea what is in the legislation or even understand it. Yet the Premier and his colleagues would want us to think that they have done their wrongs presenting this to the people. How? And at what point was it presented to the people? How were the masses able to debate, give input? Were district meetings held? We're able to gather 100 persons at a time now. What gave your administration the confidence that this is what the people want? The churches asked for a meeting and they were ignored. So who are those people that gave you that overwhelming go ahead? It is an overwhelming consensus that the people of this territory are not in favor of casinos in the BVI. There are those not in favor of the legislation at all, those who are fine with certain aspects, lottery, sports, gaming. However, a survey will tell you that the territory is not interested in casinos in the BVI. When legislation is so controversial and could change the entire outlook of a territory, the people should be given the opportunity to vote on it via a referendum. If the VIP government really cared about democracy and the people, that is what they would have done. Take it to the people for a decision. But based on deals that are said to be in the pipelines, the casino machines that the streets say arrived on island on June 16th, the VIP administration, I guess, could not risk a no from the people. I am someone that believes where there is smoke, there is fire. And so I am calling on the governor, who is responsible for security in this territory, to investigate the allegations that these gaming machines came into the island on June 16th and left the port on June 17th. How did they come in? Who cleared them off the port? Who was at the gate when they left the port on the night of June 17th? The people of this territory need answers. Under what law were they allowed to come in, if they indeed came in? Because until the governor assents to this legislation, it is not law. Are these machines on customs manifest? Who brought them in and who allowed them in? The people want an investigation done. Listening to the Premier in the House speak on God providing this idea of gambling for revenue totally overwhelmed me. It floored me. I was truly dumbfounded, but I digress. In an interview with Sergeant Bob a couple weeks ago on Cut Deep, he reported that we have roughly almost one domestic violence case per day here in the territory. Those are high numbers for a small place. We are unable to get a grasp of this problem right now. Imagine the impact gambling will have on this grave issue. More than financial loss, the social impact of gambling cannot be underestimated. We will take a look at some of these when we return from this short break.
In the final analysis, we have two options: stay inside and create memories that will last forever, or go outside and say goodbye to those memories. We're not stuck inside, we're safer inside. The time is now to unite, embrace, and love each other from a distance. Show the world and the people in it just how much they mean to you by keeping your distance. It may be difficult, but necessary. Let's reintroduce humanity and heart to all homes. While we can't enjoy the sun, sand, and sea, let's take this time to remember why we are nature's little secrets. Stay inside, and when it's over, we would all be better, stronger, and we would all still be together. With self-discipline and patience, we can overcome. We are, have been, and will always be VI Strong. A message from your team at 284 Media. Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media at cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back to episode 6 of Cut Deep. We are discussing the gambling and cannabis legislations. In presenting the gambling legislation in the House of Assembly, I do not recall, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I do not recall the government administration team presenting the social impact of this legislation on the territory. It is very much the truth that we do not have a grasp on social issues in the BVI. We do not see it as an important enough issue to even fund social development properly. Research around the world show that the cost impact of social rehabilitation due to gambling are far greater than the revenue brought into government's coffers through gambling taxation. Governments have equated the addiction of casino gambling in particular, slot machines, etc., to that of crack cocaine. And there are countries, including the UK, now working on adjusting their legislation to ease the negative impact it has had on families and society. Let that sink in. There is increased domestic abuse, alcohol abuse, mental challenges, through financial stress, increase in theft, murder. Families are ripped apart unnecessarily. Is the BVI really in a position as a small territory to take on this monster? Is the small financial gain, which will be spent on rehabilitation anyway, worth it? Will social services be properly funded to handle this fallout? Will facilities be built for rehabilitation? We can't even get a family court or safe house as yet. Are we really ready for gambling to be legalized in the BVI? Has it really been thought out? I say not. Studies done on people from all walks of life, from different age groups and different economic backgrounds, have found that a common theme was the devastating social effects gambling had on people's lives. And what about our young people? The availability of technologies such as smartphones means that it's possible to conceal a secret gambling habit for years before financial and emotional crises reach breaking point. For young people, such technologies exasperates the potential harm of gambling. There is the concern for our young people and their risk of addiction due to the availability of gambling apps and websites easily accessible from their smartphones. Gamblers were often exposed to gambling at an early age. For example, by collecting betting proceeds for a family member or watching adults place bets. This then led to them participating in gambling before the legal age of 18. Are we ready to put this monster on the lives of our children? Is this really where we want to go? Where we see the BVI? We need to really consider the impact this legislation in particular will have on the BVI and its future. We'll break and come right back.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
son.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay. I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. On June 30th, cannabis legislation was passed in our House of Assembly. This legislation legalized the growth, export, and use of cannabis for medicinal purposes. Again, the territory is unaware of the contents of this legislation and what it means for the territory. Another major legislation through the House with no input by the people. Now, as I've said, I am an advocate for the legalization of cannabis across the board. Medicinal, decriminalization of small amounts, expunged records. Let us be clear, the cannabis is not legal in the BVI. Cannabis for medicinal use is legal in the BVI. Cannabis is not legal for recreational use in the BVI. Cannabis for medicinal use is legal in the BVI, or will be legal once the governor has assented to this legislation. As the legislation stands, smoking marijuana is still illegal. Having marijuana in your possession without permission is illegal. I need people to understand that. Based on an interview conducted with the Minister Natalia Whitley on the Edu Inca show yesterday, decriminalization will not happen in a hurry, if at all. Records will not be expunged in a hurry, if at all. Let that sink in. I have read the legislation on cannabis in its entirety, and what I have gathered is that this legislation was rushed through the House based on promises to an investor. That's my take. The only entity who would be allowed to grow cannabis in the territory is the government through farmers on government property in Paraquita Bay. 50 acres, 100 selected farmers. Growth to be funded by the unnamed investor. Farmers will sell only to the investor, and only the investor can export said cannabis. The law does not allow for any other individual or farmer to use their own property to grow or profit from medicinal cannabis in the BVI. Only this investor, who remains nameless, 100 farmers on 50 acres plowing away for an unidentified non-belonger. We have replaced sugar with cannabis. Let that sink in. We talk about BVI Airways, but it seems we have learned nothing. The governor, in a statement on July 2nd, said, on the subject of governance, you'll be aware of the recent BVI Airways report. I won't discuss the details as the project is now subject of a police investigation. However, we do need to ensure we learn lessons from it and other similar reports. I believe this and other reports show that there are fundamental deficiencies in our system. It's true that we have rules and processes in place to protect against this kind of thing. But this report and others before tell us that they aren't working, and they should, and we need to learn the lessons and introduce the change in our systems. That is what the governor said, and he is sending a message. So my questions to the Premier and his administration, who is the investor for cannabis production in the BVI? What are the specifics of the contract entered into with this entity? Why is it a secret? The BVI is a democracy, and unless our security is at stake, which the governor manages, information should not be hidden from the people. At the end of the day, we are the ones on the line for any fallout. We continue to have to pick up the pieces from bad decisions made by administrations. As I continue to look around the territory, and observe the ownership of our industries by outsiders, financial services, yachting, now cannabis and gambling, I can't but compare us to monkeys in a cage looking on. We will take a short break and come right back.
Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. 284 Media proudly presents its newest talk show, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, with yours truly, Ron Grant. A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Don't worry, it's not all about suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a 284 Media production. In the final analysis, we have two options. Stay inside and create memories that will last forever, or go outside and say goodbye to those memories. We're not stuck inside, we're safer inside. The time is now to unite, embrace, and love each other from a distance. Show the world and the people in it just how much they mean to you by keeping your distance. It may be difficult, but necessary. Let's reintroduce humanity and heart to all homes. While we can't enjoy the sun, sand, and sea, let's take this time to remember why we are nature's little secrets. Stay inside, and when it's over, we would all be better, stronger, and we would all still be together. With self-discipline and patience, we can overcome. We are, have been, and will always be VI Strong. A message from your team at 284 Media.
Put up the image. I want you to take a look at this image that came to me last night. I want you to take a good look. Instead of our leader of the opposition be leaving no stone unturned to reverse the devastation handed out in our House of Assembly, here they are gathered, happy as a Lord. I am truly, deeply, honestly, full-on disappointed by our entire opposition, and they feel the need to be fired. And I feel the need to be fired by the people. There is no one defending our interests. Honorable Fraser, unless he is going after the governor or the UK, he has nothing to say. Honorable Vanterpool is totally missing. Honorable Turnbull, I just don't know. And our leader of the opposition lacks follow-through and balls to stand up to this government. Why did we even go to the polls? Why? What was the sense? You were elected to protect the rights of the people, and you are doing an absolute crap job. You are not holding the government to task. You are absolutely failing the people. It's either you get to work or get out. This territory cannot afford what is unfolding. We need you to step up and to do the job that you were hired to do. In other news, I see that the government has pulled $40 million from our Social Security. While my admonition was to pull the $16.5 million for unemployed and small businesses, the entire $40 million was pulled. Let's hope that it works for the territory. However, the people continue to call for an audit from Social Security as to the standing of our pension fund. It has come to my attention that pioneer status was awarded or granted to a belonger to operate a dentistry franchise in the BVI. I am conducting my research on this as we speak, but I would like to know how this made sense to our government administration, if it did happen. How does someone qualify for a dentistry pioneer status when this industry is decades old and run by generational Virgin Islanders? So what are we doing, VIP? Putting Virgin Islanders out of business? Hardworking Virgin Islanders? What I find is that this government administration says one thing to the face and deals a deadly blow behind the back. I also understand that a marina license has also been issued to said same belonger. He seems to be this administration's favorite person. Again, I am investigating and will bring full details. Let me stress that I have no issues with belongers holding business in the territory. but not at the expense of generational Virgin Islanders. The displacement and marginalizing of Virgin Islanders in their own country needs to cease. Oh, wow, look at that. But Venus said that they have labeled me a hater of locals. Anyway, I will keep fighting for the rights of Virgin Islanders and future generations. We'll take a short break and be back to wrap up.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Welcome back to the show. The territory feels blindsided by the behavior of the VIP administration. We are unsettled and unhappy with the passing of major legislations like gambling and cannabis. There are times as citizens and residents that we take a stand for what is right and what we believe in, that we ensure we are operating under a democracy and not a dictatorship. I feel the present administration has lost sight of the fact that they were hired by the people and must answer to the people. You were elected to represent the people's best interest and not your best interest. When that doesn't happen, the people must take a stand. VI Voice, an organization of which I am a part, has written to the governor, His Excellency Augustus Jaspert, to ask that he not assent to the gambling and cannabis legislations. We have asked for a time frame to build a case to send these legislations back to the House of Assembly. The aim is that the people have an input in these legislations and what they should look like. And in keeping with the Virgin Islands we aspire to see and live in. A Virgin Islands we want to leave for all generations. We are also working on putting out a petition this week, and if we have to march, we will do so. We are tired, and it is time that we move to recapture the BVI. We are just about at a precipice of no return. Persons have reached out to us, and we will be reaching out to others this week. Government administrations and their cronies have thrived on our ignorance. Our blind trust of them, we will not have it anymore. We are not supposed to know how the system works. Dumbing down of a society. No empowerment of our people. Again, when the people of this territory went to the polls in February of 2019, we voted for change. Instead, we got a pig in a blanket. Make no mistake about it. Join us next week for episode 7 of Cut Deep. Good night, and thank you for tuning in.